are gotten quickly. Some accuse me of micromanaging things. That's the result you get. Today, this is July. This project is being delivered 1 year ahead of time. It was supposed to be delivered next year. And this project is going to decongest, all the 3 roads. That is issue number 1. Issue number 2 is because we are going to have a very big event in the building you see behind me at the Talanta, Raila Odinga Talanta Stadium here. This was very significant. If at all we were going to get people in and out of Talanta City. And aside from this road, we have another project which we have already given out. By December, we will want to connect Talanta to Southern Bypass, again to get traffic out of Talanta City. Those people coming from the other side of town will use Southern Bypass, access Talanta City and get out. We are also connecting from the Southern Bypass. We're also connecting it to Bomas of Kenya, another facility that we are building in the city of Nairobi, to also enhance traffic mobility. Not just this road, not just this project. I am undertaking a whole regeneration of transport infrastructure in the city of Nairobi. We've just completed, I picked up some roads that the Nairobi City County had identified, about 70 kilometers, and I put in public money from the Ministry of Roads. We are in the tail end, 85% completing those roads. Small roads that connect estates, link roads that connect one road to another. It's a very big shame. In the heart of the city, you have mud roads. You have roads that have a lot of dust. So that's what we are trying to sort out. I have already a phase 2, which we already contracted about 2-3 months ago. The contractors are already on ground. That is another 58 kilometers in different parts of the city. I also sat down with MCAs, and I asked every MCA in the city of Nairobi to identify at least one road in their ward that is critical, for us to tarmac. We have already identified those roads, and this week we are advertising so that we do another almost 80 kilometers. 45 identified differently, and another that makes a total of 80 kilometers in the city of Nairobi. My plan is to make sure that this city is motorable, far-flung wards like in Kasarani, like in Roysambu, like in different parts of the city that do not have enough tarmac roads is my target. My target is to make sure that all these roads, by early next year, we have completed them. We have provided a budget of close to 6 billion shillings to do all these roads. I'm saying the 220 kilometer roads, but we have provided additional budget for the major roads, the one connecting Southern Bypass, the one connecting Bomas of Kenya, and all the other, and this particular one. And also, as I told you, the viaduct there at the All Saint Cathedral. You have seen a lot of work going there. That project had stalled, and so I had to mobilize additional resources, and it's now my plan that by December this year we complete that viaduct, so that again we improve access to the CBD in Nairobi. And aside from that, we are doing another almost 30 billion shilling project that will connect Muthaiga, to Kiambu, all the way to Ndumberi, to make sure again circulation in that part of the city is improved. And we are looking at the Northern Bypass to also complete it, and all the other areas. So I have a comprehensive plan working with the county government of Nairobi to improve circulation, road construction in the city. That's not enough. We're also making sure that we improve on motorability. That is why we are bringing on board an intelligence traffic management system. You might have seen now people are beginning to receive messages on their phone.
From NTSA.
From NTSA.
Yes.
That you went through this, you jumped these lights, you took a wrong turn, you endangered people's lives. So we are investing close to 40 billion shillings in that program to make sure that close to 210 junctions around Nairobi are manned by an intelligence transport system. We are already doing the transport management center where all the cameras will be monitored from. We are bringing all the other actors on board to make sure that system does not just serve the traffic department. It also serves our security people. The cameras will be able to identify criminals. The cameras will be able to identify even people who are mugging others. And we can be able, with a lot of accuracy, be able to identify, to make the city motorable, to make the city mobile, and to make the city safe. That is the ultimate plan, and I am very happy that we are making progress in making sure that this happens. We were constrained initially by funding, and that is why I had to develop innovative ways of looking for resources. And I have a wonderful team that work with me. My council of advisors, people at the different ministries, my CSS, PSS, and all the other people in the agencies, in Kura, in Kenha, in Kera, and all the other areas that are working with me to make sure that we deliver on this commitment that I made to the people of Kenya.
Okay, but also, Mr. President, it's very good you brought up the issue of the National Transport and Safety Authority. You do know that recently they have launched inspections, especially for vehicles that are not more than 4 years old. Maybe you can chime into that conversation. As you talk about it, Mr. President, this is a three-part question. Apologies for that. The issues you spoke, especially a few months back, when you were before the City Hall. The one major issue you talked about is the drainage system and the garbage collection system. Yes, all these roads might be built within the capital, but a major issue that has been facing and dogging this capital is drainage. Secondly, you exclusively talked about cartels, and you said you only need a few months to deal with them. So, Mr. President, have you dealt with the cartels of Nairobi?
Very important question. Drainage. You know, this city becomes a lake whenever we have heavy rain. And unfortunately, we lose people. You know, you remember the last time we lost close to 20 people because of floods. And that is why we have allocated 2 billion shillings now. And we are undertaking a rapid results initiative to make sure that before El Nino, God willing, we at least deal with the bottlenecks, you know, that are there. I've given very firm instructions to CS Davis and working with the county government of Nairobi to make sure that we accelerate, you know, the drainage management in the city of Nairobi. You are aware that we are doing the Nairobi River regeneration.
Yes.
That process is going on. We're going to make a very big deal out of it, because it's going to change the face of Nairobi. It's going to remove the sewer in the Nairobi River. But we are now putting in 2 billion shillings to make sure that we get rid of the bottlenecks that come with whenever it rains, and therefore it clogs the city of Nairobi. And number two, we have already dealt with the cartels. We now have a contract with a company that we know that is now beginning. If you go today to Ruai, they are already building the place where we are going to recycle all the garbage that is going to be collected from the city. You will also see, if you go today to Dandora, we are beginning to. There are almost 20 or 30 excavators going on there with a lot of trucks to remove the almost 60, 70-year-old dirt that has been there, garbage that has been there, complete with the river going below it. You know, it's quite amazing what's going on there. So we have already started the journey. By the end of this year, you will see a different Nairobi. Apart from the drainage that we are working on, apart from the roads that we are working on, apart from the garbage that we are working on, we are also working on lighting. Already last evening, I was inspecting some of the new lights that we want to put in the city of Nairobi. We want to make sure that this city is lit. That way, we are not only going to control criminality, but we are also going to progressively make it easier for people to work in this Nairobi beyond hours. You know, when we say a city will be 24 hours, you cannot be 24 hours in darkness. It's not possible. And that is why we have already ordered 40,000 lights, and there is another 50,000 in the works. And that project is already ongoing. You will begin to see in the next couple of months, you know, a different, well-lit Nairobi city. Again, why are we doing all this? It is a commitment that I made to the people of Nairobi. It is what people say always, Ruto promised. And I want to tell you, every promise I made, I am going to discharge it. And I am going to ashame those who accuse me of making promises that I have not kept. I will keep every promise. Like for this city of Nairobi, whether it is the markets, whether it is the roads, you have seen affordable housing. We are investing in the city of Nairobi alone for contracts that are going on, 170 billion. 75,000 housing units are being constructed in the city of Nairobi every day in the city of Nairobi. We have already 8 markets going on. We have another 9 markets being contracted. I want to say without fear of any contradiction, the transformation that is going on in the city of Nairobi has never happened under any other administration. People can say whatever they want to say. Newspapers can write whatever they want to write, but they will not change the facts. They will not change that this road where I am standing today was not there 2 years ago. It's now here. They will not say Talanta City, that is right behind me, which was not there 2 years ago, does not exist. They will not say whatever they want to say. The facts will be staring at them, and the facts will ashame them.
Okay, Mr. President, then many people are saying then, why are you blowing your trumpet? Let the people decide, because you've clearly told them today they will decide come 2027.
Everybody is trying to say William Ruto is not delivering. Every newspaper is writing fake headlines driven by sabotage, driven by greed of interests. People who want to use the media to drive agendas for their business entities. And I have said, I will not take blackmail from nobody. And I will not succumb to any pressure from people who do not see the transformation that is going on in our country. They will not decide my fate. The people of Kenya will decide the fate of any leader, of any administration. And I am very confident if the next election is going to be about performance, about a commitment I made in the manifesto, I want to challenge any media house to read the manifesto upon which I was elected, whether it is in education, whether it is in health, whether it is in agriculture, whether it is in affordable housing, whether it is in savings. I want to challenge them to challenge my record on what I have done on the commitments I made to the people of Kenya. They go look for small things at the corner. Oh, you know, William Ruto promised a tablet to somebody, to some chief. You know, peripheral things. Because on the core of the things that I made a commitment and are written in my manifesto, they have nothing to say. They cannot challenge it. And that's why they are running away to go and talk about stories which are in the periphery.
Mr. President, let's talk about the Mwananchi right now. The funding of projects has always about digitization, you've talked about the intelligent transport system, how it's going to be affected the common wananchi. Have stakeholders been engaged on these changes? What about the matatu industry? They've been consulted about this, and how exactly are they going to come into this changes?
You have made a very valid point that how is this going to be paid? It's going to be paid for by the people of Kenya. So when I see people, come and destroy this property, people are mobilized, they come and destroy public property. They are destroying our property collectively. This is property that we have either paid for or we are going to pay for it. The facility we got from Spain to build this facility, to build this overpass, will be paid for by the people of Kenya. And it is the reason why I have told us as a people, we must do two fundamental things. We must be careful about what we borrow, how much we borrow, and what for. And I have said we need to do more in raising or mobilizing domestic revenue. Just imagine, we have built the whole housing fund using our own resources, Kenyan resources. We have not borrowed a single shilling. The skyline of Nairobi is changing. The skyline of every city in Kenya is changing. Markets are being built across Kenya. Children in our schools, in our universities, in our TVETs will live in modern hostels. Why? Because we have mobilized resources at home, So it's going to be a combination of which money do we borrow? How much are we borrowing at? How long it's going to take us to pay? And much more importantly, which projects are we investing that money in? That is very significant. It is the reason why I have consistently, for the last 3 years, the international community know, everybody today in the world know that I have insisted that we must have a fairer international financial architecture. One that Kenya can borrow from the market the same way the US or Britain or Germany borrows from the international market. For a long time, developing countries, Kenya included, have been borrowing at 3, 4, 5 times more. And that is why I have carried the conversation to the international stage. I have carried the conversation to the G7. I was in the G7, and my discussion with them was absolutely clear. And we are not just discussing with others, we are also doing something ourselves. We are mobilizing our resources from the domestic market so that we stop borrowing and paying at high interest rates. But whatever we have to borrow, we are also negotiating. And that is why tomorrow evening, I will be hosting a dinner for ATD, Africa Trade Insurance Agency, which is the instrument that we use to de-risk some of the borrowing that we make, to make it cheaper. They are the ones who guarantee, so that instead of borrowing at 10%, you borrow at 6 or 7%. So these are some of the infrastructure that we are building, I have given a TD, tomorrow we are giving them a piece of land. They have been in Kenya for 30 years, but we are giving them a piece of land here in Upper Hill for them to build their headquarters, because they are not only de-risking Kenya, they are de-risking Africa. They are an African institution. So part of the reason why I have been traveling in the international community is because I am aware that there is something we can do to make sure that our development is funded cost effectively. Instead of paying interest of 10, 12%, we can pay interest of 6, 7, 8%. We can reduce our borrowing by 4 percentage points. It is the reason why I traveled to China twice, because we were negotiating about the term of our loan and the interest we were paying. It is the reason why For example, we are moving some of our borrowing from one currency to another so that we can pay less. If you don't know what you are doing, you will do nothing about it. But if you know what you are doing, like the way I do something about it. And I don't travel as somebody who has nothing to do. And let me tell you, my dear sister, you know, everybody is busy. You know, if you think William Ruto is traveling to waste the time, do you think presidents of other countries have time to waste? That they are giving me time to discuss issues that are Kenyan. If it was an issue or that there was no benefit for us or for them, nobody will waste their time meeting you. I met the president of the EU. I met the speaker of the EU Parliament. I met the president of the EU Council because there is value in the relationship that exists between us and them. They are our largest market, and we were agreeing on how that market can be sustained going into the future. There was a challenge on the East African Protocol, which we needed to sort out together. I traveled to Belgium because they are the country that buys our coffee. The highest coffee is bought at the best price by Belgium. I traveled to Finland because the connection between us and Finland on matters to do with Nokia. Nokia is a Finnish company. How are we going to look at AI going forward? How is technology going to assist us going into the future? How are we going to build data centers that will help build our technology going into the future? I traveled to South Africa. Why? Because our tea was getting a tariff that was higher than was necessary. When I had a discussion with President Ramaphosa, he saw the point. And I explained to him, we import a lot of automobiles from his country. Why would South Africa, for example, levy a tariff on our coffee? Because it would lead to a trade war. And they saw the point and asked Lee Kinyanjui. That is how we have sorted out the tariff on our tea.
Okay.
And I will continue to work for the people of Kenya in the manner in which that I see it best, because I take the privilege to be a leader in this country very seriously.
Okay.
It is not always that one has an opportunity like the one I have.
Apologies for cutting you short, Mr. President. Given that we are running out of time, maybe talk to Nairobians in just a few words, because I know you're rushing somewhere. In just a few words, your final remarks to Nairobians and Kenyans at large. We are barely over 10 months to the 2027 general election. You have been 4 years in office with the Kenya Kwanza administration. What can they expect? And then finally, you're a football fan, Mr. President. You know the season we are in. We're in the World Cup. And World Cup iko KBC. Maybe are you watching, and what team are you supporting? Finally.
For your information, I am. It was brought to my attention that KBC may not be able to do something about World Cup, and we did something as government. I'm very happy that KBC is making it possible for Kenyans to watch World Cup. I'm still hedging my bets on the teams that are there. Don't ask me which one for now. Let's leave that one for another day. I do not want to lose the bets that people have placed on me. Let me leave it there for now. But to the people of Kenya, I want to tell them we are on course. I want to tell the people of Kenya, every leader, whether they are MCAs all the way to president, must be judged by their track record, must be judged by the commitments they made to the people of Kenya when they were elected and how they performed those commitments. Every leader, it is not the tribe you come from, it is not the community you come from, it is not your height or your size or your looks. It is what you have delivered to the people of Kenya. Okay. And on my record, I am willing to do, I am ready actually, to do the exam that the people of Kenya will set for me next year. On performance, I am ready. And to the residents of the great city of Nairobi, it's not going to be done by government alone. It's not going to be done by the county government alone. It's a whole of society engagement. Everything that we are doing in the city, whether it is our roads, whether it is drainage, whether it is garbage, whether it is lighting, this is all public property. Each and every one of us must protect them, must be part of it. You know, don't litter the city. Don't destroy property in the city. Okay. Make sure that whoever you see trying to do something to damage the city of Nairobi, let us all make the necessary reports so that we can have a working city, so that we can have an efficient city, a city that is lit, a city that is lean, that is clean, and a city that is motorable.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you for your
Asante
time. Unfortunately, that is all the time we had for you here. If you're wondering where we're coming to you live, we're coming to you live from the newly launched, of course, Ngong Road, Naivasha Road, a 3.8 billion investment made by the Kenyan government. You'll be getting more details in our subsequent bulletins. This has been a joint production between Cape Media, which is commonly known as TV47. My colleague here, Hibak Said, has been here with me, and His Excellency President William Ruto. Thank you for your time. That is all. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, also a joint corporation between State House Nairobi. For now, back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Abdi.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako.